So I'll give you an update on Stevie. You're gonna see like I have a little hair tie right now, holding her bangs back. I was gonna actually text you and just to ask if it's okay if I just cut her bangs because she actually can't see. Her bangs were completely covering her eyes. That's one thing I'd probably recommend that you pay attention to throughout her life is just what her bangs are doing, because I see this a lot in doodles, and you know, dogs are actually very affected by not having their sight. So it's important that we keep those bangs back so that she can see what she's doing. I also don't have her e-collar trained, or I'm not starting it quite yet. Doodles are kind of infamous for trying to itch at the e-collar constantly, so it's on her right now so she can get used to the feeling, but without the stimulation. I'm hoping that will help avoid the excessive itching. So Valerie mentioned when she dropped Stevie off that she pulls, and so does Prime. I'm sorry, what? So, you know, I just want to explain a couple reasons why a dog could pull, right? Because Prime, by the time she came home, you know, there's no pulling on me. So why did she start doing it to you, and why is she doing it to you? And there's a real simple answer for the most part. She's trying to itch the e-collar off. See, I'm not even using it. But there's a real simple answer to begin with. And the first answer is, if you walk with a dog who pulls, why would they stop pulling? There's no incentive to stop. So I think it would be really, really wise of you guys to start actually paying attention to how the leash feels all the time, not just sometimes, all the time. And the second that leash begins to feel taut, like at all, don't walk. Stop walking and get Prime, or you know, Stevie eventually, to get back into position with you. When dog pulls and you continue to walk with it, you're incentivizing that. They don't have a reason to stop, so of course they're going to continue to do it. So that's the first piece of advice. Pay attention to your leash and don't ever walk with it when it's tense. And this even comes down to taking her from her car to the house, her car to a trailhead, whatever. It doesn't matter what the context is. If you allow it to happen at all, you're training them to do it. So a lot of people I'll see will drop their dogs off at my house after a board and train, and they'll let their dog drag them to the fence. And it's like, that matters. You might not think it does, but every single time you're communicating with them with the leash on is an opportunity for them to basically condition themselves as to what that leash means to them. So if you're letting them do this just because they're excited to see something, well, then they're always going to do that when they're excited to see something. I don't care if they know what it is or not. Dogs, it's disrespectful, and for me, dogs are not allowed to pull on the leash. I will not incentivize it with a reward. Pull me to the door so you can get where you want. That's a reward, right? No, walk together with me, and I will let you know when you get when you're going to get what you want so badly. That type of a conversation sets you up for success. That sets you up for a dog who is patiently waiting for direction instead of anxiously pulling you because they want it. It's disrespectful. The other reason is, how are you starting the walk? You know? Are the dogs meeting you at the door and then you walk to the door and have them sit and gear them up? Because that's not right. You know, they got to walk with you to the door. It needs to be calm. I'll do a door video later for you. It needs to be calm. They need to sit and wait, and then going out the door needs to be calm. Like, the ritual of how you start a walk is just as important as the walk. And if you start at a 10, they're going to go to even higher than that. So it's really important that every time these dogs get out on an adventure, the expectation is we're setting the tone, and that tone is calm. We're going to be calm before we go on a walk. That goes a long, long way. Even if I rush out a door to start working on a dog, the difference between that and me working them through a door it's astronomically different. You're setting a tone. Dogs are super simple. They're very smart and intelligent, but they're very black and white. If I start the walk at a 10, I'm going to stay at a 10 and get more hyper. If I start the walk at a 1, I might go to a 3, 4, or 5, but all of that is going to be manageable because you started at a calm state of mind, right? So that's kind of my first spiel on why are the walks not going well. But with this girl, it's very obvious when I give her 15 feet of line why she's not doing well. That's because she'll actually take it. I don't know if she'll do it right now because she's being super good. But I would recommend with her and also with Prime, separately, not together, that you do some long line work. And I know it's hard where you live. You might have to go somewhere to do it. If you can find an empty parking lot near your house, that's great too. Or Main Street when it's quieter and there's not as much going on, that works. But basically, don't walk somewhere, right? Prime knows all the places that you're going to walk. He's not fooled by any of it. So doesn't leave much incentive to tune in. Hey, we're going to walk straight. We're going to walk from point A to point B. I know the turns, I know the stops, I know where all this shit happens, right? So they just tune you out. I don't care. Yeah, they're back there. I keep pulling intermittently. I'm just going to keep doing my thing because I know where we're going, and that's never going to change. When all of a sudden you change your course and you go, it's not really as important to me how far they go as much as what state of mind they're in and how the leash is and where they are in terms of my body. You can accomplish a lot more, and you can accomplish that by turning a lot. And this long line is so awesome because it builds up their pack drive. I don't know if you remember drives. You can go back to those old videos of Prime that I sent you as a reminder, because drives are extremely important. And what we need to build more of into both your dogs is pack drive. Prime has a super high prey drive, and she has a high prey drive too. So what that does is that gets that dog aroused and stimulated by the environment to the point where they want to pull. Well, if we build the pack drive up, so it's the primary state of mind, you're going to have access to their brain faster, and they're going to start looking at you more for direction. So right now, she's in prey drive. She's staring at my employee and her dog. I back up to the end of my line, say, Stevie, come. Hey, you. The whole entire time she came back to me, she was giving me eye contact. So I went from prey to pack. That's what long line work is. It's about switching drives. It's about building pack drive. It's about making pack drive their primary state of mind instead of putting so much emphasis in prey drive. And that's what most people do. That's what most people do. I want to keep my dog in prey drive all the time. That's what makes them happy. No, that's what makes them adrenalized, over-aroused, and anxious. Especially if they're don't have a good mix of pack drive in there. So, I am going to dance with Stevie. I'm going to dance with Stevie next. Never thought I'd say that. But this dance is going to be counteracting all of her impulses. So, I'm walking. What is she doing? I'm going to look for two things. Where is her attention? Right now it's over there. See? I can move around. She doesn't even know. She doesn't even know. That's prey drive. That's why that's why we try to switch that drive, because what that does to the dog's brain is it puts it over there and not right here, which is what you want. So I'm going to switch that drive. I'm going to get behind her, recall her. Stevie, come. Good girl. The fact that she has to run 15 feet back to me. Sit. You puppy. You're a puppy. The fact that she has to run 15 feet back to me means that she has to commit 15 feet to pack drive. So I am switching from prey to pack, but I'm building up the pack drive. with it. She likes it, and I'm not using it yet too, so it's been a good, slow, casual progression of e-collar training just to make sure she's good and comfortable. Good. So back to what am I doing with long line work? I want to see where she's at. When she's not with me, I want to change direction. Let's go. Good. So I'm going to walk and go, where is she at? Well, right now, she's sniffing the ground. That's just prey driving. She also looked over there. She's a squirrely little girl. She's young. So we have to take that into account. But, you know, she's looking every other way but me, you know? And so I don't want to continue to walk with that. I'm not going to get a dog that's a very good walker if I keep walking with them while they're everywhere else but me. And I don't need the dog staring at me. I just need the dog to stop when I stop, you know, and have a real clear vision of where I'm at. You know, keep me in your peripheral. Stay with me. Stop when I stop. Look forward. Move where I move. Let's go. So this long line work builds up that state of mind. And if I just kept walking forward, eventually she's going to shoot out. And if I keep walking with that, I'm training her to do that. So, you know, they're always being trained, whether it's we're training them to do what we want or not. So if you get into the habit of where's her brain at, where is her attention at, is she in front of you or is she next to you, and is your leash tense? If you start paying attention to all those things, both of your dogs are going to walk really well. Because you don't want to walk with any of those things. You don't want to walk with the dog that's in front of you. You don't want to walk with the dog who's pulling, and you don't want to walk with the dog who's staring at a squirrel and start walking towards the squirrel, so you're incentivizing them to go run at it. You see? So I'm discouraging those things by not walking with them. And by redirecting them with a turn, I'm building up the pack drive and the incentive to stay with me. The incentive to stay with me comes from this idea of not moving forward. You never get anywhere when you act like that. We just turn around in circles. How's that feel? Well, the dog's actually saying, well, I'm actually extremely tired because I don't know where the hell you're turning and where you're turning to next. So that's exhausting for a dog. But also, I never really get to follow through with all my impulses because you keep turning me out of all of them. So I feel like I should just stay with my pack, and maybe you'll tell me what I should do next, which is what every dog owner that comes to me wants. So I would recommend, you're very sensitive. I would recommend getting into some long line work with both of your dogs. You got to do it separately. You can't long line two dogs at once. And really just focusing on where are they at in terms of you, where's that brain, in Prime's situation, where's her nose. If it's pointed over there, she's not with you, stop walking, get her to regroup. And you're going to use two different commands when you're doing this activity. One is let's go, which is the movement command where I'm actually going to walk with the dog. Let's go. Let's not do that one. Let's go. So you see, when I say let's go, I'm asking them to walk with me, but I'm not asking them to necessarily come all the way to me and sit. They just need to be headed in my direction. So that's let's go. And then we've got the recall, which is Stevie, come. And I'm going to see if she'll hook onto a smell over here. I turn my alarm off. But when I like to do recall, I really like to put them in situations where I think that they will get latched onto things and smells, right? So this is what I love about long line work. Teaching a dog not to pull, I'm building up their pack drive, I'm building up my relevancy, my turns, kind of get the dog's brain going. Where are you going? I need to pay attention to you. I don't know where you're going next. Got stupid cars coming. But long line work also gives me an opportunity to work dogs when there's stimulation and actually seek out things that they normally wouldn't come when called over, right? So I actually like to do this style of work around stimulation eventually so that I can start practicing calling her off of all the things that she struggles coming off of. So I'm going to go over here, see if I can't get her caught on a smell so I can practice calling her off of it. Stevie, come, that means you need to come over to me and sit. You can tell that's a bit different than let's go. And that's when I like to give them some affection and say, good job coming to me and sitting next to me and committing to me. It's hard for dogs to commit to a handler, especially when there's stimulus present. So it's a good time to reward that. But that's the most important command, coming when called. So putting them in situations where they normally might not want to come when called with a line and, eventually an e-collar, and practicing getting them to come when called is a big deal. So when you put this all together, it's going to look like lots of let's goes and lots of recalls, and you're going to be implementing them in different times and mixing them up and keeping them guessing and avoiding the point A to point B exercise and focusing more on state of mind. I know I went over this with you at Prime. You guys have a tendency to want to wear your dogs out. Well, I'm here to tell you that that's not going to do anything but build stamina and adrenaline. If you focus on pack drive and you focus on, let's go, where their brain is at in terms of you, and then switch the drive by redirecting it every time you see it's getting off course, that's far more exhausting than a 5-mile run. I can get much more accomplished in 15 or 20 minutes than I can a 5-mile run in the right drive, right? So if I'm focusing on building pack drive, I'm going to wear them out. They're going to be very relaxed. If I run them for 5 miles and they're hunting the whole time, I'm just building adrenaline and stamina. I'm not even creating a calm, relaxed dog. I'm just requiring a dog that needs 5 miles to feel calm and relaxed. And a dog who's probably going to not only be reliant on that from now on, but also a dog that's probably a lot more edgy because they're in the wrong drive all the time. This is where you get lots of random barking, kind of hyperactive behavior, especially with older dogs that are still hyperactive. So it's way more important. I'm just going to give you an example of what this might look like. Let's go. Good? I like to do left turns and right turns. Let's go. So even though she's with me, she's tired already, believe it or not. See, it doesn't take much. Let's go. And even when they get to this point where they're following me around, I'll still turn them a lot because not knowing where I'm going and changing directions is exhausting for a dog. Their brain is fried. And I can do that in 20 minutes instead of a 2-mile walk where, they go into the apartment and they act like nothing's happened. When you get that brain resolved and you get that pack drive built up, they're content. They don't need a lot more than that. Let's go. Stevie, come. See, I just add all of it together. Let's go. Stevie, come, sit. I add it all together. I keep moving. And you know, she's tired and not really showing as much prey drive as she has been. But all my turns and recalls are predicated on what's the dog doing. Is the dog in front of me? I'm going to turn. Is the dog staring at that in prey drive? I'm going to turn. Is the dog fixated and locked on that? I'm going to back up to the end of my line and recall it. Get him to come all the way to me and commit. And you put all that together, and you're killing like 100 birds with one stone. You know, you're teaching them tons of different stuff. Tune into the handler. Turn when I turn. Stop when I stop. Don't worry about that stimulation. Come when called when you get worked up. You know, you're doing a lot more than just a walk. And so it's beneficial on multiple levels. And I'm going to encourage you to do this with both your dogs. Prime needs it. Prime or my dog, I'd longline her a lot because she needs lots of turns. Her nose won't stop. So I need to keep turning to keep that nose from flying off. And I wanted to capture her attention more and go, no, I want you to pay attention to your handler, not the birds, you see? So I want to encourage you guys to do this with both dogs. You know, the goal eventually with all dogs is to get to the point where you can walk and do it together. But if you want to do it right and you want to have them do it and you want to have them walk really, really well together, I would rather you spend a couple weeks working on this instead of walks. And you got to do it separately. Stevie's awesome, by the way. I absolutely love her. She's a great dog. She's going to train up beautifully. Super cool. Anyway, thanks guys.